Have you ever wondered which area gives you the most for resources? What I mean by resources are things like dream shards, candies, maybe research EXP, or maybe even event items like legendary mains or dream coins. Well, as it turns out, not all areas are created equal at very high drowsy power. Welcome back to another Pokemon Sleep video, it's Vinny here. I have to give thanks to two people that inspired this video. The first person is Velocity Raptor, who is a YouTuber as well. I'll leave a link in the comments section below if you want to check out their video talking about this. Who brought to my attention that they found a problem with Snowdrop Tundra in terms of farming resources. The second person I have to thank is, as usual, RainanX, who has developed another very powerful tool for this game. It is a premium feature, so normally free users can't access this, but I'll show you some of the findings and how to use this tool on this video anyway. It's under Sleep Research Map Rewards, or what I call resources that you get from sleep research. To use this tool, you have to select which area you're going to for the simulation, choose which sleep type you want to simulate, what range of Snorlax strength, or sometimes I interchangeably say drowsy power, you want to assess, how many data points you want the simulations to run for. The more data points, the longer the simulation will take to complete. Whether there's any event bonuses, for example, for the New Year event, all of these Pokemon are boosted. If you don't want to see the boosted spawns in the simulations, you would uncheck this. Whether there's any multiplier for your drowsy power, and whether you do 1 or 2 sessions in a day. For simplicity, I usually just go with one single sleep session at 100% sleep score every time. Pseudo balance basically meaning that spawns can spawn outside of their sleep type. And then there's 2 options down here, probability tree, which actually looks at the average outcome of all possible outcomes. Or you can choose a Monte Carlo simulation, because when the numbers get really big, the simulation tree can take a very long time to complete. And a Monte Carlo has a set number of simulations that it will do. And although the numbers may be less accurate than the exact numbers in probability tree, they shouldn't usually be that far off, because Monte Carlo runs a lot of real situations and then gives you the average. Now, for simplicity, what I'm going to do is set these drowsy power or Snorlax strength to very high levels, simulating what would normally happen to whales of this game, or if you had overstacked and you have prepared really well for a week, like an event week, what would happen to your resources? Because what we want to do is we want to go to an area where we can maximize any event bonuses. Let's say there's a week where there's bonuses to your dream shards. So if you're getting 2 times dream shards every day, shouldn't you go to an area which normally farms you more dream shards so that you get more for the 2 times bonus? Even better if you stack it with a luck incense. So I ran a bunch of simulations, recorded all the results for how much dream shards, candy, research EXP, and some items that you get for each area for their respective strength that you achieve if you achieve 100% sleep score. And here is the result. This chart looks at how much dream shards you get depending on how much Snorlax strength you achieve for that sleep session. It's 100% sleep score, a single sleep per day. Using balanced sleep type for comparison, you can try other sleep types as well and see if there's any variations yourself. I chose to do the Monte Carlo simulation during non-event periods. So these are just the conditions I've set for the simulation. And I've also put in the simulation date because it depends on which spawns are available at that area. These numbers and lines can change over time. If a lot of good new powerful Pokemon with a lot of large resource drops get added to an earlier area, then that area might become the best for farming resources at a later point. And you can see a clear difference between how much dream shards you can farm as you approach huge drowsy powers. My limit here is 7 million Snorlax strength. That's 700 million drowsy power, which for most people is not achievable. But we just want to look at the limit first. Because what we do know is that as we increase our Snorlax strength and drowsy power, the rarity and evolution of spawns start to plateau. We already knew this from previous research because we found that mega whales and giga whales didn't tend to have better spawns than someone who just plays really well. So this plateau for every single area is expected. But what we're interested in today is the differences in how much dream shards each area farms. In green is Old Gold Power Plant, which plateaus at nearly 40,000 dream shards per session, per 100% sleep score session, as you hit extreme drowsy powers, easily doubling that of several other areas including Greengrass, Cyan Beach, and Taupe Hollow. But one of the interesting findings from Velociraptor's video is that Snowdrop Tundra belongs in this low tier amount as well. Lapis Lakeside ranks second in terms of dream shards farmed. Now, why that might be is probably of no surprise to you. And it's to do with the fact that Lapis Lakeside and Old Gold Power Plant both have newer Pokemon added to them and more of them, relatively speaking. If we go to Sleep Dex and Sleep Dex Lookup and take, say, Dragonite for example, a 4-star Dragonite farms 19,000 dream shards for that session, 3-star farming 14,000. If we compare that to an earlier pseudo-legendary spawn, let's say Tyranitar, that was added to the game right from the start, you can see that 4-star Tyranitar gives a little less dream shards at 16,000 and 12,000 for the 4 and 3 stars. Conversely, we look at something that was added even later than Dragonite, say Weavile. Weavile 4-star gives even more dream shards than Dragonite at 20,000 and 15,000 for the 4 and 3 stars. So understandably, as new and more broken power creeping Pokemon get added to the game, they give you more and more dream shards, but the question is how many of these Pokemon are being added to each area. We know that Weavile got added to Snowdrop Tundra, but besides that, it hasn't got as many new Pokemon being added as places like Old Gold Power Plant. So now if we look at Old Gold Power Plant's relatively new Pokemon spawns, Vigavolt farming 23,000 dream shards with a 4-star, 18,000 with a 3-star, Aggron also achieving same levels of dream shards, both beating out Weavile, and Luxray also farming a very respectable amount at 19,000 and 15,000, matching if not slightly better than Dragonite. I think intuitively it makes sense that Old Gold Power Plant, with so many new Pokemon spawn including Paldean spawns, etc., that it would farm the most dream shards. But there is a problem. None of this applies to you until you reach such high levels of drowsy power. If you look at how the chart plateaus, well, they all kind of clutter together at about the 2 million Snorlax strength. In other words, if you're on a regular week, just farming regularly, and you don't even normally reach 2 million Snorlax strength, and that's for a single session. If you split your sessions to 50% sleep score, then you will need even higher Snorlax strength in order to see the differences of the dream shards farmed. But approximately less than 2 million Snorlax strength, every area is approximately the same in how much dream shards you would farm. So for regular players who are just trying to have fun, none of this discussion matters. Just go to an area where you can normally have a strong team with favorite berries match, cooking strong dishes, high area bonus. All of those factors will be more important than the differences shown here. The differences shown here are more important for mega whales who can normally achieve multiple millions of Snorlax strength, including when they split their sessions into 2. Then clearly, Old Gold Power Plant will on average give you the most dream shards farmed. Now do be careful about one more factor that affects and offsets how much dream shards difference you would farm for each area, and that is with the same Snorlax strength you don't reach as high a rank in later areas. So I'm talking about these numbers here, where each time you rank up you get a certain amount of dream shards depending on the area you're at. So you also need to factor this in terms of how much dream shards you would gain or lose depending on which area you go to. Regardless, for dream shard purposes, if you're just playing day to day and you're free to play and you can't achieve 5 million drowsy power, go to an area where you want to hunt a specific Pokemon to build up your team for future uses. don't worry too much about the drowsy power limits. For Mega Whales, well, you normally have a lot of Dream Shards anyway. I'm not sure if it's your priority to hunt more Dream Shards or if it's your priority to hunt more Pokemon that you need. If it's Dream Shards, then go to Old Gold Power Plant and try to achieve these massive numbers. And again, for Mega Whales, one more thing you might consider is what about Research EXP, because that gets converted to Dream Shards when you're at the maximum rank. Does that affect the outcome of how much Dream Shards you get in total? There is some more variation here, with Snowdrop again ranking quite low right up against Greengrass. All other areas except Old Gold Power Plant are clumped together as second place, with Old Gold Power Plant again being at the highest amount of resource earned for Research EXP. So the conclusion about Old Gold Power Plant being the best for whales to farm Dream Shards doesn't change. Although this separation between Snowdrop and Greengrass from the other three areas is a bit more concerning, it does mean that Snowdrop farms even less in total if we consider Research EXP being converted to Dream Shards. But what about candies earned? I mean, sometimes we convert our Dream Shards to candies. That's what Candy Boost is for. That's what the Candy Cram-O-Matic is for. What's important isn't actually Dream Shards a lot of the times. It's actually candies. So I plotted them just the same. And here you can see that actually candies, they all farm about the same. Yes, Old Gold Power Plant at the highest level does farm a bit more, but at lower levels of Snorlax strength, it actually is a bit less. I haven't done every single data point for comparison, but you can see that the trend crosses over here at about the 3 million Snorlax strength, with Greengrass almost always being the lowest amount of candies farmed, and disappointingly also Snowdrop Tundra at the very high Snorlax strengths. But again, all the areas seem to clump together at the lower levels of Snorlax strength. And what about Dream Coins? Now just be aware that Dream Coins or Legendary Mains, these items are often area specific anyway. While Dream Coins for the New Year 2025 event, we can go to any area we choose, where the choice matters how much of the item that we get. During Legendary events, you had to go to some specific areas. So there's not a lot more comparisons to be made. So we're going to use Dream Coins to make our comparison, because we can choose any area for this item to be farmed, with Greengrass again being at the bottom. And then a lot of crossing over between the different areas, but Lakeside actually farms the most Dream Coins for some reason. I'm not exactly sure why that is, but you do earn a few more Dream Coins on average at extremely high drowsy powers. Once again, as we go back down to the regular, more free-to-play strengths, this trend may not continue. We can almost see that Snowdrop and Cyan Beach farming more than other areas down near the bottom. So there's not a clear choice of which area to go to, except to say not to go to Greengrass for Dream Coins. And if you've really maximized the drowsy power for that week, or you've got whale level of Snorlax strength. The reason why I've got whale in quotation here is I know that some free-to-play players are very good at gaming the drowsy power so that they can overstack and have the strongest meals for a week by sacrificing some days or weeks prior. So you don't actually have to be a whale to get these numbers, as long as you prepare ahead of time. But let's say you've got whale Snorlax strength, then Lapis Lakeside does seem to on average get you more Dream Coins. And perhaps now you can see why in the previous video I talked about Dream Coins and farming rates. I use 60 as an estimate for how much you would get for every session of the day, because this is approximately where everything plateaus around the 60 to 65 mark in terms of Dream Coins earned. It seems almost impossible for anybody to get 70 Dream Coins if we don't include things like Good Camp Ticket, Incense Spawns, etc. So that means for the 2025 event, week 2, which area should you go to? Well, for me, I still really want a Sneasel, and Dream Shards don't matter to me as much, so Snowdrop is still looking fairly good. But if you're after more Dream Shards, because of the 1.5 times multiplier on Dream Shards, to stack it with an area where you can achieve high drowsy power to give you the most of that Dream Shard bonus, it would be Old Gold Power Plant. If you're after more Dream Coins, then any of Lapis Lakeside, Old Gold Power Plant, or even Cyan Beach are worth considering based on the dream coin analysis, but note that this is a non-event analysis, so this chart isn't as accurate for events. Given that Old Gold Power Plant has a lot of good Pokemon boosted to spawn for the week 2 of the event, that's what I would recommend in general for everyone else. So let me know how you guys will make use of this knowledge in choosing which area to go to for each event from now on. Don't forget that these charts will change over time as new Pokemon get added. If one day a lot of new strong Pokemon get added to Snowdrop Tundra, then this whole analysis will change. But I will leave copies of these charts on my Discord, so you can come over to my Discord to grab them. Thank you for watching, guys. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And if you have any questions about this topic, let me know in the comments section below.